Hello people, it's me, Libluini, and we are back in my Dominion 6 Let's Play. And we are playing as Gem the Holograms, goddess of music and TNN. The 80s are here, and we have early fall in the year 1 of the Ascension Wars. And let's look at the messages first. Found the She-Lord has reached Granite, but again, we've searching a lot of our plain provinces, but chances are bad and we got no extra helping of luck, it seems. To recap, plain provinces are phenomenally bad for getting magic sites, which means our gem income hasn't budged much from the beginning of the game. So Farron, you don't have to stay here then. And we completely forgot those assholes. Well, I guess Farron can make a little side trip here. Our guys here are still building a palisade. And but we have a laboratory now. It means everyone can finally start contributing to our research. We have enough money to build a temple, however, which means we pick randomly one of these guys and have him build a temple instead. So, finished. Now all we have to do is upgrade the fortress one time, and Quadra can go on the offensive if necessary. This guy is here and will do some site searching while he is hanging around here. And boy, if things have settled down a bit, I'll probably send out some sheep mages with unexpected paths on autos, just so I have to not think about this anymore. Riley is creeping around our western coast, which is bad because we still have not enough troops to deal with the shit. At least... ah fuck, it's Gibodais. Gibodais are some kind of deep sea fish that can paralyze enemies. So what happens normally is that they paralyze the enemy into not moving for a time, while the cheap and always completely useless slave guardians slowly swim up to them and then stabs them in the face. The end. No moral. It's actually something I've tried by myself, and it's fairly effective if you have enough Gibodais. And if you make sure that they don't get too sleepy, because of course the encumbrance means every time they fire off their mind blast, they get a little bit closer to falling asleep. I think if you don't do anything, they can shoot approximately, let me think, 10 times is 20, about 25 times. 25 turns is, in an expansion party, plenty. But in a real stand-up fight, it could mean that they suddenly stop blasting you, a cheap chaff. And of course, even if you try, sometimes they will just target your cheap chaff. So that's a good way to just stop them dead in their track. Have a lot of cheap targets they can waste their blasts on until they get too tired to do anything. Then they are just there and look pretty. Well, they are deep sea fish after all. Anyway, if the player is smart, he took lots of Earth Blast for his god, so the Gibodais don't get as sleepy. I mean, Invigoration costs 2 points, and if you take it only 2 times, this would already halve the encumbrance. It means the longevity on the battlefield would change from 25 turns to 50. And yes, if you spend 8 blast points to get Invigoration 4 times, this means that they can blast forever, because the encumbrance is then effectively neutralized. Every time, mathematically, every time they blast, they get +4 fatigue, but Invigoration then takes 4 fatigue off each turn, so they're always at 0 as long as there are no enemy magic interfering. So let's look at our guys here next. Well, I guess we have now approximately 30 of these guys in 2 squads, and they have 2 attacks together they can do loads of damage, and they will sometimes hit with an attack skill of 10. It's not the worst, but I guess we have to do something, because in 1, 2, 3 turns really could be completely on the other side of us. So, since we can't really fight effectively underwater entire armies, let's see. Oh, we're lucky. The guys are fast enough. I can just send them over here, and in 2 turns they will be underwater. Then that just means even if they are attacking in a circle, in 2 turns they will be here. And then hopefully lose, so I don't think so. If they have enough Gibo dice, they can just paralyze the Kraken and the Trolls. And then even cheap slave guards should be able to just stab them repeatedly. We don't have this option, so we have to just bonk them on the head with our martial prowess here. Let's send our underwater turtle guy ninjas forward and hope they can defeat the Triton Knights and Troopers through sheer numbers. Otherwise, we'll have to table attack on the water for now. So we are in luck. Good Water is a province that has no connection to the ocean. So one possibility is therefore that we could attack one of our southern neighbors, Mekone probably, and then deal with the resulting fallout, but also open up several underwater provinces for our underwater ninja squatters. So this guy should look what's here, so just to remove a little bit of this blackness here. I really want to know if there are any more provinces here. One possibility is that Warnheim is somewhere here in this direction, if you can see my cursor moving here. And that they landed somewhere in this blackness here. But again, we have no idea what's going on. So, messages. Okay, Agatha. Gamborn, the Oracle of the Dead. Sadly, that's not a player chosen name because Agatha dropped out and is now controlled by AI. In Belmar, we got a local wizard has been lynched after allegations of turning a peasant into a frog. His magical resources have been transported to the lab. I think we already had this event, but anyway, free games are always neat. Then Tsuge Liang, god of TNN, has been permanently vanquished. That's the second player dropping out. So we are not exactly on the winning streak right now. But hey, every tiny bit of progress is enough. We now have Uzliu, which is just our little scout here. Let's give him some scouting orders, so he at least has a chance of surviving, even if deep in enemy territory the chances are possibly rather low. We are still of minimum recruitment right now, but we've started to add a little bit of chaff to our next army. We have now 3 out of 4 possible, so if we have some more strange units like the Pegasus flyers, we could still squeeze them in. Otherwise, let's see, we have treasure 121 because I've been building a temple here. Let's see. Whoop. Here is... oh, of course, completely forgot that I had these guys here. So let's do this, and then this means instead Farron can go and join the army here, and he also doesn't need to sneak anymore. So even with at least one guy having to stay here to keep the lights on, this means we now have 1 army leader and 1, 2, 3, 4 and then 5 attack horses. So if push comes to shove, that would be our first army to invade. The second army is slowly growing in TNN, and as soon as I'm marching this one, I will possibly start building something in Belmar. Let's see, do I still recruit here? No. Fine then. I'll let them recruit scouts for a while here, but of course we can now add some more units here to fill out the meat a bit. Next turn I should have money for another temple, and I guess I'll then keep that money to get more scouts. Well, now I have this scout here, but of course I forgot. Generation 2 we are still here, but now we have a little boost at least, and construction 1 should come fast after in 2 turns, and then we can actually send someone underwater. But this will at least be the next scout, because we really need scouting. So this guy goes to the south to see what the hell is going on the other side of the border. Palisades are still building. Confirm no disease or anything, just some crippling battle damage. So my plans is then to continue site searching. Since we have the money next turn for another temple, I could also speed things up by sending one of my she-lords here and then build a temple here. This would at least unlock the crystal priestesses, and since those come with a small chance of extra magic, this would open up our recruitment a little bit. We can also start recruiting Amazons. I mean, we could the entire time. But, oh, I forgot, we can look at Pegasus riders in more detail, because we have gold 16, resources 9, and recruitment 46. And we have recruitment, as I thought, we can basically only recruit 1 per turn. And then I guess a bunch of Amazons who at least have better short bows than our tiny slings. And do they? No, they aren't sacred. But they're a little bit sturdier and have more moral than our slingers. And since they are 12 gold, 4 resources, 14 recruitment points, 46, 58. I'm so bad at math. 70. Wow. Okay, they eat just enough recruitment points that we can recruit 1 flying horse rider and 2 of these. So it's essentially a long-term project. But since we can start recruiting as soon as the temple is there, we should start early, because then it will take at least 10 turns until we have enough of these guys to matter. Would be a nice reinforcement in case things go pear-shaped. But still, not much to do here now. Next turn temple, and then this guy can move forwards and search here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and eventually he will be back in TNN. Then I have to squeeze some extra money out, I fear, because we'll need a second palisades, and those are pricey, 1000 in fact. Which is why I am recruiting some more scouts. And possibly next turn I'll take a look at our current troop stand in TNN to see if I can squeeze more money out for the 3rd fortress. Because while TNN has its own troubles thanks to only having plains surrounding it, Belmar has Okay. Is a third fortress necessary? You could get away with just putting a lab here and saving the money for more mages. Sure, it would take longer to recruit these, but on the other hand, I just need them mostly to side search and as a backup, not for anything seriously. I mean, sure, if I have a lot of them, I can use creepy astral magic to power them up. And they do get a tiny chance of getting a second astral level, at which point they not only turn into better side searchers, but could also move. Could also, how to put. Also, yes, of course. I've entangled my own brain here. If they get a level 2, that makes them good side searchers, but instead of moving around, they could also then immediately forge astral caps, a nice little helmet that gives +1 to astral magic, and having a path level of 3 in astral magic unlocks a lot of interesting little spells for offensive, but mostly to protection. Like there is a spell that needs 3 paths and an astral pearl to protect the entire army against magic. It's a small bonus, but with all those dice rolls, you want statistics to be on your side. And we already have +1 somewhere, that's nice. And we also would like to have some water income eventually. So as soon as my second fortress is finished, yeah, it would probably be more cost effective to just put a temple and a second lab here, third lab by now. And then just recruit units here. And occasionally moving them to TNN. Well, I decide the specifics later. The mage isn't there yet, still. Next turn I'm deciding on... Yeah, I need scouts. Otherwise I have to invade blind. Right now we are so fucking blind, we haven't even seen the enemy in action. We do know that Vanheim could be an enemy of note, since they can duel our own elf lords 1-on-1. At least we know a little bit more about them, and apparently they are already at war with someone. And they are winning, which of course makes things even more awkward, because of their important sailing ability. Them squatting here would normally not be a problem, since there are also not many troops here. So of course they are elves, so their troops can actually hide in plain sight, like mine. So it's a bit confusing, but all those elf lords here are basically not there for Mekona. From Mekona's viewpoint, they can possibly see a bunch of slingers standing around for some reason. But they need at least some experience in elf lord fuckery to know that our fucky glamour here comes with the ability to hide movements in our own lands. The glamour also gives us a bonus to hiding, so as insane as it sounds, sending a single expensive elf lord to scout would actually work out better than our actual for real scouts. These guys have stealthy 65, which means, translation, hard to detect, plus glamour, which makes them even harder to detect. So the player has to put some real effort in to detect some unit like this, while our basic Fearbulk scouts have stealthy 50, which, to be fair, is a bit better than normal, and they have mountain and forest survival, which means they can move faster through mountain and forest territory, which is not really relevant, since I think the highlands are the only territory here that counts as anything different than plains. Well, we have plains and river, but that's basically plains. And farmland is just plains with more money and even less resources. You can see this here. Income and resources, and here income and resources are slightly higher, because it's not farmland. Compare also the population. Well, there is not much difference. in this case. But with a couple lucky rolls, farmland can have tremendous income. One of those funny things. If I see all those high income provinces, I'm itching to put fortresses for protection on them. But those of course would be insanely counterproductive, so we don't. Ah yes, units in Quedra require -11 supplies. Another thing about elves. Since so many elf mages have nature magic, they also get a bonus to using supplies, and if you stack enough elf lords on each other, you get here a supply bonus 10. You're basically magically generating fairy meat or something. Now, is there any mage without nature to compare this? Nope. Nope, so I guess I have to trust my memories, which is faulty. By discussing things on Discord, for example, I had to learn that at least since Dominions 5, barbarians weren't berserking anymore. It seems just every time I looked after what they were doing, I managed to hit on the leaders who can't berserk. The main reason other players fear them is not because they can berserk and then just not run away and after all have these giant swords to hack you apart with. Nope, the reason they're scary is because of how unreliable they are. If you manage to hit the leaders early, they run away. If you manage to do enough damage fast enough to make most of them rude, they will run away and leave their berserking leaders alone to be killed. But, and that's the important thing, if couple lucky hits on your expensive sacreds, and the entire battle turns upside down and you lose a lot of expensive shit for nothing. That's because they have those giant swords. If they hit, they hit. Anyway, I've squeezed enough out of here. Messages, take into account. This is taken into account. See, and I have movement orders for all of my units and commanders this time around. So let's continue. Oh, Dominion server is down. Okay, I have to interrupt here. Until later. Hello people, Liploini here, and we are back again. Our last session was rudely interrupted by a sudden update of the game and the servers going down for maintenance. So after a short break we are back with my Dominion 6 Let's Play. Playing the elf nation of TNN. And now we have to fall in the year 1 of the Ascension Wars. We have a lot of messages, well, a medium amount of messages I suppose to go through. First up, we managed to complete more magical research. Conjuration is now on level 2, and construction on level 1. To take a look, we have still some levels to go on our basic research. Next up is alteration 3, and it's also done in about 2 turns, thanks to us finally having some research. Level 3 will start giving us some first useful group spells like Group Blur, which can affect 3 and more areas of effect. That means that we can give our blur to small numbers of non-sacred soldiers. Displays body only works on a caster, and it has some useful things, I guess, for mages. Attacking units have the attack skill reduced by 5. First strike against each displaced unit is -10. Attackers with True Sight or Spirit Sight ignore the displaced condition, as do blind ones. The effect doesn't stack with blur or invisibility, so I guess it's useful to know that if you have a single caster, you should prioritize displaced body instead of group blur. That's more an army buff. Time is 100%. It's possible to use for our assassin mages, since if they have this here, as long as they attack commanders who are not too blind, true-sighted, or spirit-sighted, and then the first hit will almost always miss because -10 to attack rolls is a lot. To take this into account, our tiny little kappas would have an effective attack skill of 0. Not much to hit there. It's a nice little buff and not overly effective, but any little bit helps. Then we are going to enchantment and thaumaturgy for some other basic spells. Shroud of Splendor. Caster is wreathed in a fiery splendor. Attackers are awestruck and only brave soldiers will attempt to strike the caster. Caster gets R1, a power that makes us slightly harder to hit because most enemy units and commanders will have to make a short roll to see if they can attack or if they're stunned by the beauty of whoever cast the spell. To simplify things. But mostly I'm just planting the way for better spells later. Then we are on Conjuration. Conjuration 2 did not much except that now we can give us more air magic in storms and more water magic underwater, always useful. And of course we have unlocked Tapestry of Dreams, a spell that shows out what's going on in 4 provinces from the caster. The caster conjures the dreams and memories of a distant land and weaves them into a tapestry that reveals what transpires in the province. The tapestry will dissolve over a month, but can be made to last longer if additional gems are used in the casting. A nice little spell if you want to look at stuff that's far away where you don't have any scouts. So anything else? Let's leave this for later. So Maronnerie has searched but couldn't find anything. Oh. Well, I guess this means you can go up there now. And our kappas are about to attack. And it seems Riley underwater is marching north and west, leaving us alone. Perfect. I would say if we win this battle, which is, well, I give myself a 50-50 chance, then we may also overwhelm with sheer numbers the people in this province. And oh, we have a new neighbor here. Well, technically speaking, it's the neighbor of Mekone. And the strait works like a river, so only in the most frozen of the future can you get free here. Now let's see if I can remember which shortcut opens up the pretender list. Oh, F9. Oh. No, wait, that's the Thrones of Ascension. I see, my own stupidity is in the way again. Pretenders of the Road, F4. Whoop. So let's see, this is a great big nerd. Arcocephale. So they are basically fantasy Greece with lots of astral magic. Yes, the Esculap stuff. That's clearly our Greek friends from Fantasy World. I'm always a bit unsure because my contrast view is a bit bad, so I have sometimes troubles keeping certain colors away from each other, especially if I'm not sure if this and this is exactly the same color. This little staff thingy tells me that yes, that must be our friend from Arco. So let's see if this actually works out. You go up here to do some more site searching, and you build, please, a temple. And then possibly a lab next turn, so we can continue recruiting here. And now, whoops, yes, you of course get your own special orders. And I'll put you back here. Let's see, you're here. I'll put you here for now. Scouting is on the way. And we got a new visitor from above. So you can researching, sorry. And you are a minor army leader. So, forces concentrated. Of course, now I can do something sneaky. Since now I have this guy hanging around, I can order my poor little guy to get his horse back and order this guy, Labkas, to continue fort construction. Still 2 months left. Next month we'll building a lab here, and then the recruitment can begin. And here we still have some left over to recruit here. Let's put this to good use and this to good use. And we still have 12 resources. 22. We can recruit another shield. Oh, whoops. 1 gold, 2. Not enough. Not enough. Let's see if we can... yeah, but the other province has problems with recruitment points. So let's do this instead. 2 more slingers. And let's put our army better together here. Now our secondary squad of non-sacreds slowly takes form. And we have, yes, after all the shit we had, defense plus 15. Ha! That saves a lot of money since I've already put 10 in every province. So now Anremark has 25, which is comparable with the defense of your capital province. So you can see here, it's, yes, and of course we got a province, which means we lost 10 here. So it's only 15 right now. At least it's still enough to give us some petrol strength here. For comparison's sake, Unremark's 25 defense means unrest reduction is 2 and petrol strength is 11 instead of just 1. It has something to do with the stealth explanation here. Stealthy troops can pass undetected through enemy territory. The value is an estimate of the number of patrollers required to have a 50% chance of discovering this stealthy unit. Or in other words, if you have 50 points worth of units patrolling, there are 50% chance to find our guy coming through. And of course, if you only have 25 points of patrolling, then that would mean they only have approximately 25% chance of finding you. They can patrol all the way, but chances are our scouts would just walk past the patrollers. And points means exactly that. 1 point is 1 unit of size 1, and so on. So this guy alone with a human being size 3. It's an upgrade from Dominance 5 where a human being had size 2, but since we now have full 10 size points available, things are a bit more granular. And anyway, this means that if we put this guy alone in a province and had him patrol, his size 3 would give him the 3 points of patrolling, So this all means 10 guys like him plus the commander would something be 33 points. So it's already getting close to 50%. So it's not carte blanche to do anything you want without any additional stealth bonus. That's why our glamour mages are so fantastic, because they reduce this chance further. And patrolling in the province is basically an auto roll. So what this means is, if an enemy scout or spy hawks squads here, the game will automatically roll to discover him with a patrol strength of 1, which is not even animal sized. I think the game would put a really tiny newborn kitten or a really big bug on that level. Well, not much. 11 is a lot more in this case, because I think that's the equivalent of 3 people and a large dog or something. That's my educated guess. And, well, since I'm recruiting here, I could, of course, 70. Recruit another leader here. Because even if that attack fails, as long as Riley is marching off into another direction entirely, I'm not giving up on those underwater provinces. And now we have some more scouting down here. Yep. Yes. There is more to discover, but since Calum is to the east, we'll instead go to the west to see what is going on over there. Quadra, oh, I forgot. You can also research now. Try them out, build palisades, and that's it. Everything is moving again. Just one little bit. We got one of our national heroes. Suddenly, Luck the Long-Handed appeared at the gates of your fortress and wanted to fight for your cause. And everyone who knows how those slightly Celtic / Irish names are pronounced now wants to murder me. Loved, my second attempt, the Long-Handed is a hero among the Tuatha. He is a grandson of Baelor, High King of the Fomorians, but his father and foster father are of Tuatha stock. He appears as a young, handsome boy, ablaze in solar glory. When he first arrived in the misty halls of the Druid kings of TNN, he was denied entrance if he did not show himself useful. But as there already were swordsmen, mages, harpists, poets, shipwrights, smiths, and craftsmen, there was no place for luck, love, or names, pronunciations, it's killing me, until he asked if there was one who was able in all these arts. There was not, and Love was accepted as a champion under the name Love of many skills. As champion of the Tuatha kings, he was dismayed at the acceptance of Fomorian oppression, led by his grandfather Baelor. He now leads his people in war against the fell giants of Fomoria, armed with his enchanted spear. The spear is awakened and bursts into flames when battle is near. Such is the rage of the spear that only Love can hold it back. The spear has given Love his name Long-Handed. Love also wields the sling Rainbow, which will always strike the eye of the target. So, it's this guy. He has a lot of magic skills and always path 3, path 2, path 2, path 3. So he's fairly good in everything. He also has R5, which is like 5 times stronger than what the measly little spell I showed earlier can do. It's also fire resistant, and 20 is a lot. This guy can basically face tank a fireball at that level. It's also still glamour because he's an elf. And he has fire shield, 13 AP damage. This means in battle he's surrounded by a wall of fire, and 13 damage is a lot. Better not touch him here. He has a siege bonus of 20, well, with all his fire powers he can basically punch down walls, I suppose. This is a one-man army. He can also sail, so we now have, by pure accident, a leader who can lead his troops across the ocean if we want to. Here's the supply bonus all nature mages get, and twice as much because he is level 2. It's also dark vision completely and totally, so if his entire army was like this, we could send him underwater in caves everywhere where it's dark, and it would not harm him in the slightest. There's also a small forge bonus which reduces the gems needed to forge magical items by 1. It's also a spell thing. It was a bit more complicated. It's an elf power where you need more time to cast spells because you're singing the spells, but because singing is fun, you gain less fatigue. Do you now realize why I called my goddess gem into holograms? Elves are musical, didn't you know? But now we have this very useful guy. We can use him as a sailing army across the ocean, which means in theory we could send him, since TNN is coastal, all the way down here. Let's test this, if I'm right. Well, not exactly. To be fair, I have never actually used sailing. But, oh, I see. So because there are so many land provinces, the game thinks it's faster to walk down there. But as you can see, as sailing commander, we could throw him up there, or up there, or, well, that's not exactly working out. Yeah, of course, it's in straight lines, so if I wanted to jump across to the eastern board, I would have to move him there first to the other side. But anything else works out. Of course, we need some scouting to see what's going on there. Otherwise, things could turn hairy. But yeah, this magic guy can do everything. That's the funny bit. He's also sacred and a priest strong enough and that he can take thrones for us if we want to. So, sailing, huh? And here is insane leadership, 230 units. Holy shit. We can even have 100 magic units if we scrounge some up. I guess that would be ferry units. And here's a full 5 squads, so that's a lot of place, considering our standard setup is sacreds, non-sacreds, bodyguards and slingers, which counts just as 3 squadrons. But there is a lot of things we can do with him, just not right now since we don't have an army for him, or do we? The thing is, of course, since we are expanding blind, we have absolutely no idea what is going on here. Like this place here, Ampholia. What the shit is there? We don't know. In fact, let me rectify something. Forge magic items and saddles and bardings. This is new. This is new. Yearning artifacts. That is for later. And we can snake rings and ring of frost. Ah, that's shitty. So I thought it would be possible to forge something that we can use, like ring of water breathing, but I suppose the game has moved this upwards. Let's see what we can have. Ring of tamed lighting, ring of fire. So what you can forge are some basic protection items, but nothing of the other shit is usable since it can't make us breath underwater. So we can't really do anything right now with scouting. Do I change my plans this much? Construction 3 will unlock the lesser magic items. Hopefully this will be a bit better. So now the question is, do we go maximum overdrive risk or not? Well, we are a bit walled in right here. And no one else will be able to get that island over there if there isn't more Arco. That's the troublesome thing. In this new system, it's more and more possible that provinces will be shown as independent if you don't have any scouting ability near there. I'm guessing so that this is close enough it would show us if there is Arco there. Oh, you know what? Oh, fuck it. We have a perfectly normal army here. Just let Love, or however to pronounce his name, handle everything. We can't really remain too static, that would kill us dead. I still haven't made a decision if we want to actually continue this Let's Play or if I should cut my losses and play normally. So Oscar is on the way. Then we leave Gem alone here again. And of course we have our additional researchers slash army commanders. So, Love, you are a specialist in everything, a legendary hero. So let's attack this island here and see what we'll find. Will this work out? Who knows? I can't be too extreme with my luck-based approach, because, well, it would be very funny if this works out. Vanheim has a lot of different leaders who can sail. I just have this one hero. So if we lose Love, then that's it. We are just basic normal elves again. So let's see if I can take 2 provinces next turn, or if we just see a lot of failure. Until then, Liploini out.